In today's video, we're going to talk about Captain Marvel 2, aka The Marvels. I'm unsure why it's actually called The Marvels because realistically, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, Carol Danvers is still the main star. So we're going to talk about the Marvels plot, post-credit scene, and how this movie is kind of confusing because the marketing is trying to make it look like the villain of the Marvels is a Thanos-level threat, to the point where they've actually put Thanos in the most recent trailer, which is strange because new marketing rules to do with movie trailers insinuates you cannot mislead the audience, but the marketing for this movie is very misleading to the point where we have the plot, but the marketing doesn't line up with the plot at all. So, what is freaking good, YouTube Warstu here? If you are new around, and make sure you subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that I try to cover on a daily basis. If you could, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below. Are you hyped for Captain Marvel 2? Also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And if you could, check us out on Twitter or x.com, WarstuG. Right, let's get into this video. So, The Marvels is causing massive controversy recently because of reasons. So, we're going to slightly go in reverse order. So, there's been massive news that all of us, I mean, I think this is very misleading because I don't believe they've actually just slid it in the DMs. Because the thing is with Disney and Marvel movies is there is no public test screening. It's in-house test screening. It's Disney employees test screening. So information came out. Feige adds last-minute Hail Mary. So all of a sudden, a last-minute post-credit scene. I told you Kevin Feige is desperate, and now it's learned. Kevin Feige, Marvel added a last-minute Hail Mary. No, generally post-credit scenes are included with test screenings. I don't understand how people don't know this. So it does come from a reputable source, Mr. Daniel RPK over on Twitter, and allegedly it comes from his Patreon, but why? I'm not paying for anyone's Patreon, but that is allegedly where it's come from. So we've already covered this story, but it's very misleading. So apparently what's going to happen is, I know this part here is true, is Monica Rambeau is somehow, after they stop an incursion, but they can't really stop incursions because the whole, it's building up to Battle World, aka Secret Wars, and pretty much after Secret Wars, we're going to be left with a brand new Earth. But the problem here is, the main Earth, it can't be destroyed yet because you've got Spider-Man 4 coming, you got the Thunderbolts movie, you've also got Captain America 4. Well, really, it's Captain America 1 reboot, but nobody asked for it. But we've got these, and then you got Daredevil, and you got all these grounded level Earth-based shows, if you like, or movies. So the main Earth won't be destroyed. It will probably be the last one to get destroyed if it gets destroyed. So we know at the end of the Marvels that they're going to somehow stop some incursion, but Monica Rambeau is going to get stuck somewhere else. But she doesn't really have powers to get stuck somewhere else like your Doctor Strange would, or like your Wanda would, or like your Captain Marvel would, essentially. So they're going to have to explain how she goes somewhere else, because it's not like she's got the other bangle, and in theory, Miss Marvel could have ended up somewhere else. So the alleged post-credit scene is Beast is going to appear somewhere. But why I'm questioning this post-credit scene for being BS and taking it with a major grain of salt is because every wannabe Twitter scooper who's apparently an industry insider cannot tell you what happens in this scene. They cannot tell you what happens. They all say the exact same thing on Twitter, multiple articles, but they don't actually tell you what happened. Kelsey Grammer Beast from the Fox X-Men appears. So that connects it to Deadpool 3. But what's really going to have to happen is, this is interesting, is The Marvels comes out the same day that Loki Season 2 finale ends, but the TVA doesn't actually exist inside time and space. It exists in its own place, if you like. So the TVA could be destroyed by the end of Loki Season 2, and if the rumors and if logic makes sense, Loki Season 2 is actually taking place before Ant-Man 3, when Kang ends up in the quantum realm. It's actually quite interesting, because Loki Season 2 does tie into Ant-Man 3, which does tie into Deadpool 3, which does tie into Secret Wars. But because Loki Season 2 is predominantly happening in the past and the present, we don't actually know when Loki Season 2 is happening. So at some point, in order for this narrative that the TVA is going to create this super team and They're picking heroes from each universe. The TVA is already pretty messed up based on episode 4, and that shocking ending, which really isn't that shocking, you'll find in the next episode, is the TVA is going to have to be completely destroyed. But the Prime Earth that Spider-Man and Daredevil and Punisher and Captain America 4, that Earth can't be destroyed yet because there's a lot of grounded level stuff to come. Marvel's in such a bad place, so it's all right saying, yeah, Kelsey Grammer Beast from the X-Men universe is coming. Okay. But what is the context? And people presume this is where Monica Rambeau, she may interact with him. But what I find interesting and fascinating is not one single person can tell you what happens in the scene at all. There's no actual context. The context is, yo, Beast appears in a post-credit scene, and this is somehow going to save the Marvels movie. Interesting. It's been said Marvel is freaking out and scared that bad. Interesting. It's because the box office predictions for the Marvels is very low. So apparently Kevin Feige has all of a sudden rushed out a new post-credit scene, but because of the strike, this must have been filmed back in January. So this post-credit scene was always there, but no one's seen it. So this is why I'm probably one of the few creators who questions into these people that apparently have inside, and I've been doing this like 5 years, so I know what I'm on about when people don't question stuff, because what is interesting is the plot leak has basically been the same for months from the early test screenings. Like I say, they do in-house testing, so Disney employees or friends of employees, not the general public. It's interesting is the plot leak has not changed, but all of a sudden the post-credit scene ends, and all of a sudden they put out a trailer that is making the Ben, the villain, to be Thanos level. Other people will finish my work for me. She is nowhere near an Avengers level threat. So let's briefly go over the plot. Careful spoilers. Carol is investigating Kree in space. Monica is working with Nick Fury at Saber Space Station, the Peak. Kamala is living with her family in New Jersey. Kree General Dubin blames Carol for the fall of the Kree Empire when she defeated the Supreme Intelligence in 995. That's pretty much true. The Kree now refer to Carol as the Annihilator. Well, that's true. She is the Annihilator, which she disputes. Carol learns that the Ben created a machine powered by one of the bands that can open up portals into the fabric of reality. Every single trailer is basically to the point where we actually see the incursion in the most recent trailer. The machine disrupts the power of Carol, Monica, and Kamala, causing them to randomly switch locations between the summit, the peak, and the Khan's household. We've basically already seen this stuff. So this is kind of common knowledge at this point because you've all seen the trailers, so you can pretty much work it out yourself. So Fury and Kree, Death Squad, end up in Khan's household whilst the Ben steals the other bangle from Kamala Khan. Okay, so we know the two bangles together are powerful. And maybe Kang is after them. At some point, if Kang Conqueror doesn't, if a variant of Kang does not show up in this movie, that should have been the post-credit scene. Kamala, Carol, Monica, and Kamal join forces to stop Dubin and protect each other due to their unstable powers, whilst Fury takes the Khan to the peak for protection. Carol doesn't believe Kamala is ready after she hesitated during the fight, but Monica reminds Carol that Kamala, she's not a soldier, and Carol decides to train Kamala. Monica resents Carol for abandoning her and her mother, Maria Rambeau, but also she learns Carol and Maria reunited after the blip. Carol was with Maria when she died. The Marvels find out that the Ben plans to use the machine to create portals and steal other planets' materials, natural sources as such, to rebuild the Cream Horde Hala. The Ben has already destroyed 2 planets for its atmosphere, now targeting the planet Alanya, where people communicate through song, for its water. Carol is embarrassed to go because she accidentally married Prince Yan during a previous visit and is technically the princess. The people of Alanya worship Carol, and she is forced to sing, alert them that the Ben is imminent, making an invasion. And apparently they adore her. Apparently Brie Larson's got a very nice voice, but apparently this scene is pretty cringe. Prince Yan creates a new suit for the Marvels. Monica learns how to use and synchronize their powers so they can fight. The Marvels save Alanya, and Carol realizes that the Ben is destroying planets that Carol cares about. As a revenge, obviously the last target is always got to be Earth. The Ben attacks and seriously damages the peak, Fury orders an evacuation, but learns there's not enough escape pods for the entire crew. Fury allows the Furklins, the killer cats, to eat the crew, safely storing them in the pocket dimensions in the stomach. So cool, to the point where they are marketing this movie with a poster of cats, but they're actually killer Furklins, and launches the Furklins to Earth. The Marvels rescue Fury and repel the Kree Armada and pursue Ben back to Hala, where the Kree are celebrating the rebirth of their world. The Marvels confront Ben just as the machine accidentally creates an incursion threatening the universe and the multiverse in theory. Carol defeats Ben, Kamala destroys the machine and retrieves her bangle. Monica fixes the incursion but ends up stranded in a parallel universe. Carol decides to return to Earth to train Kamala and help Fury search for Monica. Mid-credit scene, allegedly Monica awakes in a hospital and learns she's in a universe where Maria is alive and is Captain Marvel. Post-credit scene, Kamala steals Fury's tablet with data on Earth's emerging superheroes and approaches Kate Bishop with the idea of reforming the Avengers, telling Kate, did you know Ant-Man had a daughter? So the whole Kate Bishop, Ant-Man daughter post-credit scene, that was supposed to be the post-credit scene or mid-credit scene for Ant-Man 3. So that is basically the whole plot. But if you watch the most recent trailer, it makes out that Ben is some kind of Thanos level Avengers threat and Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, is the only person that could take it down, which is interesting. I still think this movie would have benefited from being called Captain Marvel 2. So I do think this movie sounds pretty decent, but the marketing is very misleading. And then throw in some random ass post-credit scene, which will kind of bring you into Deadpool 3 or give you the idea that the X-Men universe characters are going to exist, which I find fascinating. But if you go back a month or two ago, me and the Geekcast were told that the post-credit scene or ending scene for Loki Season 2 was somehow going to connect Slade Wilson, the ripoff Wade Wilson, who is the ripoff of Deathstroke and Slade Wilson. Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, was somehow going to end up in the TVA. But based on the most recent episode, I think the TVA could actually be destroyed. So it's very interesting. See, I don't necessarily believe the information leaked post-credit scene is because no one can describe this scene to me. I've reached out to people. No one can actually tell me word for word what happens in the scene. Because there was supposed to be a post-credit scene where a all-powerful Kang Prime was supposed to be overlooking everything. So there is some descriptions, but not really. So there's one description, but this isn't coming from a good source. Monica gets stuck in another universe, yes. She ends up in the X2 universe. Here she meets with Kelsey Grammer's Beast and new Maria Rambeau variant. Whilst talking, they're reportedly under the X Mansion. You may remember Kelsey Grammer played the role of Beast in the Fox Studios X-Men Last Dance. This will officially open up the MCU's door to the X-Men universe, teasing the multiverse, and then says that also was teased in WandaVision, Doctor Strange 2, and Kamala Khan's mutant reveal. Interesting. The mid-credit scene has reportedly been changed very last minute. It's not really last minute because test screen information is not supposed to get out, but then it also states the other credit scene is about forming the Young Avengers. So I guess you could but that's still not in depth. It's funny how the whole plot leak is out there, lads and ladettes, but what actually happens word for word is not really there, though it could be in the X Mansion and they meet each other, and it sounds a bit off to me. It sounds too loose, but one thing for sure is, if I can play the trailer at the start of the video or overlay it either way without the audio, is they're showing Thanos, right, to make out the threat is on a Thanos kind of level when really it's like a villain of the week kind of storyline. Without Kamala Khan's bangles, she can't really do anything. So I am looking forward to seeing the Marvels, and we'll break everything down probably once we've actually seen it. But that is basically the essential essence of what happens in the movie, and allegedly what happens in the post-credit scene. I don't necessarily believe the post-credit scene, but reportedly, that is how it goes down. And I don't understand why this movie is being marketed in such a strange way. It's being marketed like it's a Deadpool movie, stroke Guardians of the Galaxy, stroke Captain Marvel 1.5, I don't know. Anyway, let me know down below, guys. I'm pretty sure this information from the plot is at least real or somewhat true, because based on doing this for a long time, most plot leaks are very true. And I know the plot leak is basically real, but I'm not too sure about the post-credit scenes. But I find it fascinating how Everyone's talking about it. It's all over Twitter. I've been all over Twitter for a long time. We've already covered this, but I wanted to go over the plot in a bit more detail. And I don't know why Marvel's being very misleading and deceptive. After the whole Kevin Feige incident, when he said you had to watch Captain Marvel 1 in order to understand Endgame, when really you didn't. Likewise, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face man of the movie voice. Check us out on Twitter at Warstu. And we'll catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.